The Mandalorian season 3 has finally finished, and we've got a lot to unpack from the finale. It was a pretty decent finale, but however, it does leave a little bit of some questions about this season. The last two seasons, it was obviously about Mandalorian and Grogu's adventures throughout the galaxy. This season felt more like filler, kind of um, tying into a bigger picture, probably tying into the Mandalorian movie that we just got released, that is coming according to the Star Wars Celebration 2023. But a lot happened in this finale, so I want to start talking about the finale a little bit, and then after that, I'd like to move over and just discuss my thoughts of the series as a whole.
This is the way.
So the finale started, of course, Moff Gideon came back, Mandalorian was captured, and you had Bo-Katan running away trying to gather all the rest of the Mandalorian troops. So, of course, the Mandalorian escapes, and he and Grogu are going to go try to find Moff Gideon, which they do, and Mandalorian engages in a battle with Moff Gideon. Meanwhile, Bo-Katan is busy over trying to get the fleet. They're trying to get to a safe location, but they also want all their troops to come down to the ground, because if they all come down on the ground, they have a much better chance than in the air with some of the fleet that Moff Gideon has. So they successfully get everybody to the ground, and they start waging war. You see Bo-Katan with her little light sword, with the dark saber, running around, and you have all that. And then Bo-Katan comes down to help Din Djarin, and they both kind of fight Moff Gideon, and you see Grogu gets to fight some of those Imperial guards, which he doesn't win. He needs Din Djarin's help. But nevertheless, we see him use his force a little bit. We also see we see a lot of Grogu's force abilities, where he puts a force field shield around Din Djarin and Bo-Katan when there's an explosion, because the way that they, in the end, explode the base that Moff Gideon had built is basically they just kind of pull a Holdo from Last Jedi. They pretty much just ram their ship into it. I mean, ain't broke, don't fix it, but it just felt kind of like a Last Jedi thing for me. Nevertheless, that's kind of what happens in this episode. You got a couple other important things that happened, like the dark saber was crushed, so it is no longer a thing. So that is gone, and they now are able to live on Mandalore. All the Mandalorians live on Mandalore, and you see Grogu is brought forth to become a Mandalorian. Of course, the Armorer refuses to let him become a Mandalorian because he is unable to speak the Creed. I don't know how long it takes for that species to speak, but I mean, I wonder if she's even going to let him speak backwards, because I mean, that's what they do. I mean, do or do not, there is no try. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if Grogu speaks backwards like Yoda did or not. I'm waiting for that. But nevertheless, the Mandalorian takes Grogu as his adopted son, which allows him to become a Mandalorian apprentice. So he's not a Mandalorian, but he does get a new name called Din Grogu. So you have that. So just a lot of interesting stuff regarding that. But now I want to kind of talk about the entire season as a whole. So, Mandalorian Season 1, Season 2 were very much about Grogu and about Mandalorian. And we had some other characters show up, like Luke Skywalker, Bo-Katan, Boba Fett, and that was more a Book of Boba Fett, but nevertheless, we had them all in there. Kind of like cameos, kind of help him on his adventure a little bit, you could see. But nevertheless, this season just felt like it wasn't about the Mandalorian Din Djarin. It was about Mandalorians as a whole. It was about Bo-Katan, and it was about Moff Gideon and what he had been up to. So it was kind of interesting. The first two episodes were really, really exciting. I thought we were going to get a really good Mandalorian series where you got Mandalorian trying to redeem his name and become a Mandalorian again by bathing in the living waters of underneath the mines of Mandalore. That was really exciting. But after the second episode, I felt like that wasn't big enough of a plot for something so important. But nevertheless, Lucasfilm had more in store for Din Djarin in this season. So after being captured and Bo-Katan rescuing him, it just leads to another flurry of events. The episode where Dr. Pershing is we see 10 minutes of screen time for the Mandalorian, and the rest is Dr. Pershing trying to sneak in, work on his research for cloning, and then just gets mind wiped at the end of the episode. I felt that that was a really drawn out filler episode that could have been explained in a 10-minute recap or a 20-minute recap when it became necessary. My thoughts. But nevertheless, that's kind of what we got. But we also see throughout the first couple episodes, the Mandalorian is teaching Grogu how to be a Mandalorian. But like I said at the end, in the finale, he still can't become one. But at the beginning of the series, you have the Mandalorian trying to teach him how to be one.
Being a Mandalorian is not just learning about how to fight. You also have to know how to navigate the galaxy.
So yeah, you have the Mandalorian doing that. But however, that isn't his only quest. So you see other things where he's going about trying to gather all the Mandalorians. But that's toward the end. It's like gather up the ones that still follow the creed and they wear their face mask, and those that don't. And of course, Bo-Katan is a great middle person because she walks the path of both worlds, and they all work together to go take out some pirates that, of course, are invading Navarro. So that's one of the episodes and that's the one where they really all come together. After realizing that they are stronger as one, they kind of form together and they say, okay, let's go take back Navarro. They're on Navarro, and they decide that they're going to go take back Mandalore. So in the second to last episode, they go and they realize that it's Imperial inhabited. And of course, that's where we leave off, where the Mandalorian gets captured. And then the finale, which we've already kind of talked about. So overall, this season, not as good as the first one. It might be tied with the second one a little bit, but definitely it could have been better. It felt like it was jumbled in all the wrong places. Dr. Pershing, there was too much screen time on him, in my opinion, and not enough screen time on the Mandalorian for it being his namesake. You could almost call this the Rise of Mandalorians, or the Rise of Mandalore, or something like that. And I think that would have been a more fitting title. I think that Disney and Star Wars is hiding behind the Mandalorian because that's really their most successful Disney Plus show. Andor is doing well. Some people say Obi-Wan Kenobi, including myself, did great. But people didn't like Book of Boba Fett. So I think that they're going to try to milk as much as they can out of the Mandalorian. But just let me know your thoughts. I kind of just gave you guys a rough recap of what happened in season 3 of The Mandalorian. So just let me know your thoughts. Do you guys want another season of The Mandalorian? I mean, we're getting one, and then we're going to get a movie. But just let me know if you're going to continue watching, if you're excited for it, or if you're not. If you're still with us at this point of the video, thank you for listening. Please give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you, and have a good rest of your day.